So we have to remove the 2 caliper bolts. So that's 12 millimeter. That's the second one. So you have to wiggle the caliper to compress the piston so I can take it out. You have to wiggle it slowly. Then you need a hook like this. So this is a brake caliper hanger. So we're gonna hang this caliper onto the spring. And now we have to remove the caliper carrier. See this brake pad. Brake pad's totally finished. See? There's nothing left. So here we're gonna need a breaker bar to take out these 2 bolts here because this is gonna be very tight. So we're gonna need a 17 millimeter. It's very tight. So now we can remove the rotor. So to remove the rotor, you need to remove this Phillips screw that's holding the rotor into place. So that will loosen up the rotor. And this rubber grommet here that's covering the hole, we have to transfer that to the new rotor. So that's a Phillips screw. So after you remove the screw, you can just wiggle it and take out the rotor slowly. That's it. And we have to remove the rubber grommet. You have to transfer that to the new rotor. And then we're gonna clean the surface here to take out some of the rust or whatever, or grease. Just make sure it's clean before you put in the new rotor. Okay. Spray some brake cleaner. Also, we can spray the brake shoe inside, just to clean out all the brake dust. So once this dried up, then we can put the copper anti-seize before we put in the new rotor. So now we're gonna put the copper anti-seize. So this will make your job easier the next time when you wanna replace your rotor, because it's gonna be easier to take out. You just need a thin film of copper anti-seize. You don't need to put a lot. Just make sure you have enough to cover the surface. That's it. If you have some excess anti-seize on the bolt, the threaded part, you have to remove that, because otherwise you're gonna have a loose lug nut on your wheel if you don't take care of that. Just gonna remove this extra copper anti-seize here. Now it's ready for the new rotor. So I'm transferring the grommet into the hole. If you're going to use the standard rotor, which doesn't have the rust protection finish, so this one has the rust protection finish, so it doesn't come with the oil. It doesn't have oil on the part, so you don't need to degrease this. So usually if you get the standard brake rotor, you have to spray brake cleaner on the part to take out the oil that came from the packaging, because that's the protection for the part, so it doesn't get rusted during storage or shipping. So in this case, this is already protected by the finish, so we don't need to degrease this. This doesn't have the oil. So to install this, we just have to match the hole where the Phillips screw. The same thing on the hole on the hub. We have to match that together so we can install back the Phillips screw to hold the rotor in place, just like that. So I put a little bit of anti-seize on top of the thread, so when I put back the screw, it's not gonna get stuck for the next brake change. It's gonna be easy to take out. That's it. So this is the caliper carrier. So first we have to remove the shims. The shims that's stuck with this part. The old shim. We have a new shim to replace that. That comes with the kit from the new brake pads. You have to use a steel brush to clean the place where the new shim is gonna sit. Make sure it's nice and flush. No rust that's gonna prevent it from sitting flush. The same thing on the other side. You can also shoot it with the brake cleaner. So now we have to remove this guide pin. I'm gonna use my brake cleaner to clean the pin in another rag. We can also use the steel brush to clean the rusted part of the pin. Brake cleaner. Now we're ready to put the grease on the pin. Put some grease on the pin, and then we're just gonna slide this back inside that rubber boot there. That's it. You don't need to put a lot, you just have to put enough. And we're gonna make it slide back in until it pops. See? Nice and smooth. For the second one, we have to do the same thing. Pop out the rubber. Clean out the grease, the dirty grease. Clean out the pin. I'm gonna steel brush the end of the Now it's time to put the grease on the pin. Then push it back in place. That's it. See, now it's nice and smooth. So now we can put the two shims here before we put it back onto the rotor. So the brake pad come with two shims, so that's two shims per side. So we just have to put back the shims the way they are, the way we took them out. Just press it here and that's it. Press. Same thing for the other side. I'm gonna press it. That's it. Okay. So now we're gonna put a little bit of grease here, a little bit of grease there before we install this to the rotor. Because this is where the brake pad will glide while you're braking. Okay. Put a grease there and a grease there. Now it's ready to install back onto the caliper. So put the caliper carrier back, line up with the hole. Put back the 17mm bolt. Use the ratchet. Don't tighten it yet. You have to prepare the second bolt also to be tightened. And this one we have to tighten completely with the breaker bar, because you want these two bolts to be tight. This is your main bolt that's holding the brake caliper, so that has to be tight. That's it. So now it's tight, so it's ready to put back the caliper with the new brake pads. So for the new brake pads, so the outer brake pads, you have to put the grease on the ears and the back, on the backing plate here, the one that's gonna touch the caliper. That is to prevent from squealing, and for the ear is just to have a better performance, to make it glide easier when you're braking. So that's the one we're gonna put on the ears. and on the brake pad where the contact point of the caliper backing plate. Then you can slide this like this. That's it. Then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, on the caliper side. First we have to compress this caliper. So after I took out the old shim and put in the new shim, I compressed the piston by using an old brake pad and the compressor. So by compressing the piston, it's gonna go down, so we have enough space to put in the new brake pad and install it on the rotor. So now, as you can see, it's flat with the new shim in place. So now it's time to put the new brake pad. So before I put in the new brake pad, I just want to put some grease on the shim here. Yeah, so the brake pad will just glide. Once we install it, it's gonna glide freely and it's gonna have a smoother operation. So on the brake pad, we're gonna put some grease around the contact area of the piston and on the ears, so it's gonna have a smoother operation when it's when you're stepping on the brakes. So you just have to apply to the backing plate around the area where the contact of the piston will touch the backing plate. And also on the ears. Another side. That's it. So now it's ready to be installed onto the caliper. That's it. So now it's ready to be installed back onto the caliper carrier. Slowly guide it in place. Wiggle it a bit. That's put back the two 12mm bolt onto the sliding pin. That's it. So now the brake job is done. All we have to do now is put back the wheel, and don't forget to pump the brakes before you drive your car, because you don't have any brakes right now because the caliper is not compressed, so the brake pad is not compressed. So you might have to pump your brake pedal in the car before you drive a couple of times until you feel that it's firm, and then you can drive the car, because otherwise you're gonna have an accident because there's no brakes in the car. So all we have to do now is put back the wheel, and the process is done. Well, we have to do the same process on the other side to complete the rear brake rotor and pad replacement. So it's the same process. You just have to go to the other side of the car. So that's it for the video, guys. So please like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Giving me the best time.